As the second generation of top officials in the big business world, Lin Changshou aspires to become a Changshou monster who holds the power of the world and sits on the knees of beautiful women. But why is his wife so powerful? Chapter 1. Crown Prince Lin Changshou. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The capital of the great Shang dynasty was 30 miles away. At this moment, the heavy snow in the sky was like goose feathers falling, and the trees on both sides of the road were covered in snowflakes. The silver clothes were wrapped in snow, like a shy girl standing tall and graceful over there, eager to speak. Uncle Leg, everyone in the family says you run the fastest, isn't that true? A young man with a luxurious appearance, dressed in white fur, rubbed his hands by the fire and looked at the old man with a limp beside him, asking. My little prince, don't imagine it out of thin air, okay? A few days ago, you asked whether to use a knife or a sword for someone with one less arm. Today, you ask me if this cripple is running very fast. Do you think this thing is possible? If I could run fast, I could still heat the fire in this snowy and cold day. I would have run to the capital long ago. The person who is called the uncle of legs, with half-white hair and a face crisscrossed with grooves, looks like an old farmer. I saw him limp to the fire, and after hearing the man's words, he even lost his old eyes and said in anger. It's just that, we are two old and disabled people. How did you see, Crown Prince, that we look like legendary experts? As soon as Uncle Lu finished speaking, he saw a middle-aged man with one hand, holding dry firewood and throwing it onto the ground, following closely together. Hello. The young master is the Crown Prince of Zhenbei, Lin Changshou. He is bound to be the one with a long life of 100 years. I am going to Beijing as a hostage. How could my father only send you two? Upon hearing this, Lin Changshou patted his brain and looked at the two disabled guards speechless. This is already the 9th year of travel, and I was very satisfied with this new identity. I am the only son of the opposite-sex king of the great Shang dynasty, holding military power and dominating the northern region. Even everyone calls the northern region the northern Shang. This is a natural wealth and prosperity, perfectly fitting for a horizontal sword and a galloping horse, embracing a beautiful concubine. However, the reason why he crossed over is because his predecessor was poisoned and killed at the age of 10. Not only did it damage most of his foundation, transforming him from a legendary genius to a useless person, but it also made Lin Changshou feel anxious all day long, afraid that someone might harm him. Even being healed by the Kyushu cauldron that crossed through my body, I dare not reveal any more of my cultivation. The prince did not send either of us, it was the northern border that a whole 1,000 soldiers from Zhenbei sent the crown prince out. Upon hearing this, Uncle Lu gave Lin Changshou a pale glance. He didn't know where to get the chicken legs from and grilled them on the fire. The aroma made his mouth water uncontrollably. Yes, even though you have left the northern border, there are still 500 Northern Army soldiers following. Who would have said that the Crown Prince insisted on going to listen to music 4 months ago? Originally, 3 months ago was the designated time. You've been listening to music all the way, insisting on letting the Zhenbei army take the lead. Now it's great, only the 3 of us are left. The guard with one less hand was also speechless, staring at the chicken legs while pouting. What a special thing, when I go to play, I always take you with me. Don't forget that you spent most of that money. Now when you put on your pants, you'll scold the gold owner. Won't your conscience hurt? When the 2 of them said it, Lin Changshou grabbed 2 pieces of snow and smashed them fiercely, but this powerful and heavy move was also a sneak attack. The 2 of them, who were just old and disabled, didn't even glance at each other and dodged the attack with a slight tilt. Their eyes never left their chicken legs. Mud horses. 2 old immortals. Seeing his plan fall through, Lin Changshou couldn't help but curse inwardly. These 2 had watched him grow up in the royal mansion since childhood. When I was in the royal mansion before, I didn't feel that these 2 people were so shameless, but as they left the northern realm, they seemed to have turned on some kind of switch, becoming more and more serious. No. Uncle Dao, you have a murderous aura. At this moment, Lin Changshou grabbed the handle of the knife with one hand and looked around with a cold and murderous intent in his eyes. Don't look at the two of us, we are just two old and disabled people. This time, we have to rely on you, Crown Prince, to show off your divine power. Regarding Lin Changshou's mention of the murderous aura, the two of them didn't even lift their eyes and still stared at the golden chicken legs roasted on the fire, with a very perfunctory tone. Yes, yes, we are just two old and disabled people. With your unparalleled cultivation, Crown Prince, we will definitely kill them with one blow. Uncle Dao wiped the saliva from the corner of his mouth and repeatedly said in agreement. How many times have these been? It's all my Crown Prince's actions. Don't you know that I was injured when I was 10 years old, and now I'm just like an ordinary person. Also, keep the special chicken legs for me. Along the way, you two ate and drank from me, and even sold the carriage. Now I have to work hard, I'll wipe them. Upon hearing this, Lin Changshou angrily pulled out his snow-white long sword, and his playful and disrespectful demeanor instantly became ironclad. Actually, Crown Prince, if you sell that white bear coat, we can not only have enough to eat, but also get a good carriage. Seeing Lin Changshou standing up, the disabled duo not only had no intention of standing up, but also glanced at my coat with bright eyes and said, "Be a person." Upon hearing this, Lin Changshou's iron-blooded aura, which he had finally managed to create, instantly broke through his martial arts skills. He wished he could cut his sword at the two of them and could only snort coldly to elevate his own aura to the highest level. A few snow-white jumps disappeared in front of the two of them, leaving only a few shallow footprints on the ground. Have you dealt with those few things thoroughly? Don't really let the Crown Prince have an accident, it will be disastrous. After Lin Changshou's breath was reduced, the leg uncle finally glanced at the knife uncle and said, "Nonsense, if I don't handle it properly, I can come back, but this time they've invested a lot of money and actually brought 3 masters and 5 little masters. Damn it, otherwise I would have come back early." Upon hearing this, Uncle Dao sneered and added some ingredients to the fire before saying, "I don't know what our Crown Prince is afraid of. Even though he has reached the level of a half-step junior master, he still hides it. He wouldn't really think that someone in our palace is trying to harm him, would he?" Upon hearing this, the leg uncle touched his chin and said with a gossipy expression, "Who knows, but those guys 9 years ago were so hidden that they haven't been found yet. We still have no words to go to the tomb of the queen and toast." Uncle Dao's only remaining hand was tightly clenched, and the air around it seemed to explode with a bang. Damn it. Go crazy and go somewhere else. If the chicken legs get dirty here, I can't spare you. By the way, the group of little dolls under the Crown Prince's hands haven't noticed you, have they? Seeing the snowflakes rolling up with anger, they were about to thrust into the chicken legs like knives. The leg uncle cursed and waved with one hand, calming everything down as if nothing had happened. Almost, those other little dolls don't look like humans, each one looks like ghosts, with the highest cultivation level only in the concentrated spirit realm, but they all cooperate harmoniously. I saw with my own eyes 10 little ones, who actually killed one of them in the Return to One realm, the half-step little master. Uncle Dao's mouth curled and he exclaimed with a whimsical expression. 9 years ago, the Crown Prince changed. Although he no longer had the name of genius, he was like a rebirth from Nirvana, always wary of us, even a marshal. I don't know if it's good or bad. The elderly leg uncle's eyes showed a hint of relief, and he said with some emotion. I don't know if it's good or bad, but the one the Crown Prince is meeting now must be very fun. At this moment, Uncle Dao suddenly disappeared with one hand and appeared directly above the chicken leg. In the next moment, the chicken leg appeared directly at Uncle Dao's mouth, and he saw a proud giggle. Chapter 2. Exiled Immortal Sword. You are listening at novelfull.audio. To ask about Lin Changshou's feelings at this moment, there are only 2 words he wants to say, which is what kind of bastard he is. If there are many words to say, they are classic national treasures. The output relies entirely on one mouth, but in reality, he can only hold the Zhenbei long knife with a proud face. Standing in the snow, looking coldly at the graceful figure on the treetops, although the other person's white veil covered their face, only a pair of cold eyes were exposed. There are beautiful women in the north who are unparalleled and independent. Watching the woman swaying with the wind on the treetops, Lin Changshou couldn't help but murmur. Although I am amazed by the woman's temperament, appearance, figure, and appearance in my heart, it is more about my helplessness towards her. Just because this woman is the most likely to become a great master in the past 100 years, the exiled fairy sword Liu Qingran is also the dream lover of many men. Even since leaving northern Zhou, he has been chasing his fiancée Ae, which is really frustrating. I truly deserve to be the Prince of Zhenbei. I've been wandering around the flower tower all the way, relying solely on my verbal skills. After hearing Lin Changshou's words, Liu Qingran's cold eyes were surprised, but her voice remained cold as she spoke. Even though the resentment was far away, Lin Changshou could still feel it clearly. That's not it. The reason why I can walk smoothly in the land of fireworks is because of my handsome face, 8 Do's talent, and this honey-coated mouth. Do you want to try it? Upon seeing this, Lin Changshou threw a foul fart at the broken hair in front of him, and let out a deep groan in his heart. If he had gained experience from the information explosion in the previous life and couldn't defeat the opponent, he might as well have killed himself. You have a smooth tongue. Heroes like the King of Zhenbei and the Princess of Zhenbei are so eloquent. How could they teach you guys to come out? You better go to hell. Perhaps it was stimulated by Lin Changshou's words, or the thought of seeing her fiancé Ae in the brothel when we first met, all of which indicated that Liu Qingran was very angry today. I saw her lightly tapping on the treetop with one foot, her whole body descending like a fairy in the heavy snow, drifting towards Lin Changshou without any smoke or fire. Damn it, wind and snow 18 pavilions. You crazy woman, you used killing moves at the beginning, not afraid of being a widow. Watching Liu Qingran take action, Lin Changshou could no longer maintain his demeanor. His figure flashed and he retreated a few feet away. I saw the place where Lin Changshou was just now, as if it had been smoothed out by some force. Not to mention it was snow, even the land was riddled with wounds and holes. Dang Tuzi. Go to hell. Watching Lin Changshou dodge, Liu Qingran was not surprised at all. After giving a cold shout, Little Master's breath instantly lifted. And the speed disappeared in the blink of an eye, and when it reappeared, the long sword had already reached not far from Lin Changshou's nose. My grass. Murdered my husband. Exiled immortal sword Liu Qingran murdered my husband. Seeing that the sword doesn't smoke, Lin Changshou is very murderous. Lin Changshou can't even use the sword, so he dodges the blow with old dagger, glutinous rice rolls with sweet bean flour. He started running frantically, shouting while running, not like the noble young master just now, a reliable scoundrel in the market. Lin Changshou, stop. Shut up. After hearing Lin Changshou's shouts, Liu Qingran's sword shook and her whole figure stumbled. She looked at Lin Changshou's disheveled back and shouted angrily. She didn't know what was wrong, and was hailed as the only woman in 300 years who could become a great master. She didn't react at all, and even absolutely believed that this was what she deserved. She practiced in the Great Snow Mountain and became that unique pearl, without any emotional fluctuations. Even because she is too excellent, when everyone is far away or even in awe of her, she will not pay attention. But when she found out she had a fiancé and wanted to go down the mountain to have her engagement terminated, her calm heart lake suddenly felt like it had been thrown into a stone. Continuously creating ripples in it, and even seeing Lin Changshou for the first time in the brothel, the anger in his heart appeared inexplicably. I should have killed Lin Changshou myself. With my own means, how could Lin Changshou, a half-useless person, have escaped? But 4,000 miles away from the northern Zhou dynasty, my long sword, which was notorious for killing people, could cleverly evade and harm the opponent. Don't run. A fool doesn't run. I'll tell you that we're about to arrive in Kyoto. If you assassinate again, you'll be caught, and I don't care about you. Lin Changshou, who had been running wildly all the way, couldn't manage so much. In his opinion, where was the banished immortal sword behind him? It was simply a mother yiksha. For the sake of his own life, Lin Changshou doesn't care whether it's heavy snow or not, nor does he want to delay his arrival in Beijing. Using their body movements, they headed straight towards the direction of the capital of the great merchants. The rapid progress of the two of them created two deep grooves in the snow. TSK TSK TSK. This is really a talented and beautiful woman. We, the young prince, are blessed now. Shortly after the disappearance of the two, the disabled duo suddenly appeared. Watching the direction of Lin Changshou's disappearance, Uncle Dao chuckled strangely. The crown prince is not just here to make protons this time. It is rumored that the emperor is working hard for Princess Seven's marriage, and the crown prince is now in the capital, whether it is good or bad, and most importantly, the exiled immortal sword, who has practiced the forgetting love technique on the snowy mountain. Upon hearing this, the furrowed cheeks of the leg uncle appeared sorrowful, and a pair of weathered eyes revealed a hint of worry. So what? Even if our crown prince marries both of us, what's the point? Our northern army, not to mention the princess banished to the fairy sword, even if the heavenly gate reopens, the immortals in the sky can still get it. Upon hearing this, Uncle Dao was full of domineering aura, and even the heavy snow dared not fall within 3 feet of him. Humph, silly guy, don't cause trouble when you arrive in Kyoto. Where can I take you? Not only the eunuch in the palace, but also the dean of the academy. Seeing Uncle Dao's domineering appearance, Uncle Leg snorted coldly, and his figure disappeared without a trace, leaving only remnants and voice in place. Cut it. If I'm not injured, even that eunuch would dare to fight me. However, the prince said that those guys in the academy cannot be provoked, and the dean, that old man, is not easy to deal with. He had long been accustomed to the disappearance of the leg uncle, but instead rubbed his chin beard with his only remaining hand, murmuring in frustration. On the other side, Lin Changshou was already sweating profusely, even though he was already a half-step junior master and could even take that step at any time. But now he has to hide himself and pretend to be half useless, pretending to avoid being discovered while also avoiding Lu Qingran's pursuit, which has made him suffer. Do you really want to murder your husband, Lu Qingran? I can tell you, the gate of Kyoto is right ahead. It has been running all night, and the sky has started to light up. Not far away is the magnificent and heavy Kyoto city wall, as well as the people waiting to enter the city. Lin Changshou's face was covered in sweat, and his white coat had already turned semi-black, making him look extremely embarrassed. Chapter 3. Obstruction. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Deng Tuzi, I will kill you today. At this moment, Lu Qingran was also very tired. After all, after running all night, she never stopped exerting half of her strength every time she made a move, fearing that she would really hurt her opponent. Now, her white veil was eroded by the sweat and pressed tightly against her cheek. Help! Help! As Lu Qingran's anger grew more severe in his eyes, Lin Changshou decisively gave up the dignity of the crown prince and used his body movements to head straight towards the city gate. The mournful cries made everyone look at him. Bold! Who is making noise outside the city gate? As Lu Qingran's long sword was approaching, a loud shout came from inside the city gate, followed by a burly figure appearing directly beside Lin Changshou. After seeing Lu Qingran's long sword, he let out a cold snort, and the spear in his hand turned into a long dragon, with the tip of the spear directly hitting the edge of the sword. Time seemed to have come to a standstill, and the next moment a wave of air spread through it. With a bang, the ripples of the air grew larger and larger. Directly blowing away the nearby stones and those kind-hearted civilians, the people were thrown back and forth, and the figures flying out of the city gate were repelled by this force by dozens of steps. Dare! Who are you? Dare to use martial arts in front of the capital city gate, haven't your sect elders taught you? I saw the burly figure, dressed in armor, holding a long spear and lying low on the ground, but in front of him, his legs were hard dislodged from 2 grooves. After seeing that Liu Qingran's breath was not at all disordered, but rather stronger, the defending general narrowed his eyes and suppressed the stuffy breath in his chest, then shouted in a low voice. However, that pair of intimidating eyes did not make him feel too dominant in his words, more like an external force but an internal force. What else is the general talking to her? Despite her beautiful appearance, she is actually a madman. She has been chasing from 30 miles away last night until now, and she is not a good person. Upon seeing this, Lin Changshou didn't know what the city gate guard was thinking. It was just because Liu Qingran had advanced cultivation and was still young. I'm afraid there might be some backstage behind her who wants to turn big things into small ones, but how can this be done? After being chased all the way, Liu Qingran will have to suffer a bit. Young master, our city gate guards are in charge of affairs, and it's not up to outsiders to intervene. After hearing Lin Changshou's words, the leader of the guards widened his eyes and said in a serious tone. If it weren't for that gaze on Lin Changshou's luxurious clothing and temperament, he might have grabbed it long ago. Big Snow Mountain, Willow Green ran. Upon hearing this, Liu Qingran just glared fiercely at Lin Changshou, who was hiding behind the leader, and said coldly with his long sword sheathed. It turned out to be the banished fairy sword from the Great Snow Mountain, and the last guard of the capital city gate, Li Sanxiao, had seen the fairy. Upon hearing this, Li Sanxiao's face instantly changed. The national character's face was hard and piled up into a smiling face, bowing and flattering. So what, is it okay? It's okay, I just left. As Lin Changshou watched his own little 9-9 be shattered, and Liu Qingran also drew his sword and sheathed it, he felt bored and waved his hand as he was about to enter the city. Seeing this, Li Sanxiao couldn't bear it in his heart, but his face showed a puzzled expression as he looked at Liu Qingran. Those who work as servants in the capital sometimes don't compare their cultivation skills, but rather their eyesight. They see that even the exiled immortal sword has come out. How could a noble young master like Lin Changshou still be inferior? Humph, Lin Changshou, you better pray that you can hide for a lifetime. I'll go to the college to pay my respects first, and then come find you. If I know you're still going to that dirty place, even in the capital, I'll take your head off. Liu Qingran didn't even look at Li Sanxiao. She glared fiercely at Lin Changshou with her beautiful eyes, and then disappeared into a white shadow outside the city gate. Hey, General Li, such an arrogant person, is so unreasonable. Don't you care? Seeing Liu Qingran's arrogant back, it was actually cold. Lin Changshou patted Li Sanxiao's shoulder and said angrily. Puff. But what answered Lin Changshou was, Li Sanxiao's speechless white eyes and a mouthful of old blood, as if questioning Lin Changshou. Do you think I can stop him like this? Forget it, I'll just go to the city. Seeing Li Sanxiao's sorrowful and angry expression, Lin Changshou smiled awkwardly. After all, it was not his own words, and he wouldn't be hurt either. As he spoke, he had to walk towards the city gate. Stop. Proof of identity. As he was about to enter the magnificent capital, Lin Changshou even saw the lonely girls inside waving at him, but was interrupted by Li Sanxiao's serious voice. Lin Changshou looked back in shock and saw Li Sanxiao running behind him at some point. Apart from a hint of fresh blood on the corner of his mouth, there was no sign of serious injury just now on his face, and his eyes were staring at him with wide, round eyes. Me. No, you don't investigate that female assassin. You investigate me as the one being pursued. Are you decent? Looking at Li Sanxiao, who looked like he had changed his face in Peking opera, Lin Changshou was almost furious and pointed towards the direction where Lu Qinran had disappeared in anger. She is a female master who only appeared in the Great Snow Mountain for 300 years. At most, you can be considered a playboy. Don't talk nonsense, just hand in your identity certificate quickly. Li Sanxiao snorted coldly, and when he said about Lu Qinran, he couldn't conceal his admiration. Not to mention that she is not the female master who emerged every 300 years, even if she is, what can she do? I am still the Prince of Zhenbei, young master. Upon hearing this, Lin Changshou was stunned. He knew for the first time that there was someone who could not beat him, but he dared not investigate. His words were so fresh and refined. After speaking, he even lifted his robe and dust danced in the sunlight, but Lin Changshou had to maintain a sense of pride. Hurry up and get out of the way. Get out of the way. Before Li Sanxiao could answer, Lin Changshou heard a fierce sound of horse hooves, as well as the arrogant cries and the sound of whips exploding in the air. Following the sound, a few fast horses rushed towards the city gate, and the crowd immediately avoided them for fear of being whipped or killed by the horses. You don't care about this. Watching Lin Changshou constantly exclaim in his heart in this state, he realized that he had never been so arrogant in the northern region before. Since then, the capital has seen how true arrogance has been done. I patted Li Sanxiao, who looked ugly, and then pointed to several men in brocade who were about to gallop over and asked in confusion. Damn it! Can't you hear me if I ask you to step aside? That's why you opened your mouth. Before Li Sanxiao, who looked ugly, could speak, Lin Changshou felt a sharp wind-breaking sound coming, followed closely by that arrogant shout. He is the young master of the deputy commander of the Forbidden Army. Do you think I can manage him? Upon hearing this, Li Sanxiao looked bitter and whispered to Lin Changshou, in the capital, the Forbidden Army and the Defending Army are completely two levels of existence. Chapter 4. Where is the Zhenbei army? You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Noisy. After feeling the long whip coming from behind, Lin Changshou's face became gloomy. After a cold shout, there was no movement from him. He grabbed his hand from behind and a strong and heavy whip appeared directly in his hand. A pair of hands, even more tender than a woman's, actually grabbed the whip with bare hands. Most importantly, the whip not only did not cause any harm to those hands. On the contrary, it was like a toy, constantly being played with by that hand, which made Li Sanxiao, who had just been stunned, widen his eyes again. After all, even if he wanted to catch the whip with his hand intact, he still needed to show his cultivation. However, Lin Changshou was like an ordinary person, and his cultivation was not revealed at all. How dare you fight back? Let me go. And the young man on horseback, after pulling hard a few times, gave up and waved his hand, followed by his group of dog legs, directly surrounding Lin Changshou. Li Sanxiao's gloomy face didn't even look at him, he just sneered and stared at Lin Changshou with his whip and long sword. Do not ride your horse in front of the city gate. As he watched the few people become more arrogant, Li Sanxiao said in a deep voice with an unpleasant expression on his face. Li Sanxiao, don't give you face. Don't do it, be your goalkeeper well. If you don't want to do it, I don't recommend letting my dad take you away. Who knew that the noble young master snorted coldly upon hearing this, not only fearless, but also disdainfully glanced at Li Sanxiao and snorted coldly. His father is very awesome. This made the people around him suddenly exclaim and take several steps back, while Lin Changshou asked curiously. You should know that those who can serve as guards at the city gate are powerful generals, not to mention a noble young master. Even most officials in the court should treat them with respect. Deputy Commander of the Forbidden City Army. Li Sanxiao's face became increasingly ugly, and he almost gritted his teeth and said. I know, why don't you get out of here? The noble young master smiled proudly upon hearing this, and then gave a cold shout to Li San with a smile. What are you calling out for? You. Before the noble young master could be proud for long, Lin Changshou pulled hard with one hand and saw the noble young master fly directly, landing heavily at Lin Changshou's feet. How dare you? Kill him! At this moment, everyone was stunned, and the dog legs surrounding Lin Changshou only realized after a while, holding weapons and barking strangely as they were about to charge over. Don't be so reckless, don't be afraid of his death. Lin Changshou completely ignored these lackeys and grabbed the nobleman's neck, lifting him up. The noble young master had just fallen from a heavy fall, and when he realized it, he felt a suffocating sensation coming from his neck, and his hands and feet were constantly struggling in the air. I wanted to use my cultivation, but found a strange force that sealed all my cultivation, causing me to panic. The son of a deputy commander of the Forbidden Army is just so awesome. Why don't you go to heaven? Seeing those dog legs being intimidated by himself, Lin Changshou slapped the nobleman's face directly. His delicate face instantly turned red and swollen, and even blood could be seen flowing from the corners of his mouth. My father is the deputy commander of the Forbidden Army, dare you hit me? After finally taking a breath, the noble young master blushed and glared angrily at Lin Changshou, shouting. Your father is here, I'll beat him up. Upon hearing this, Lin Changshou immediately laughed and slapped him again. Let go of Mr. Zhang. Dare, do you really want to die? Perhaps it was too noisy, and those dog legs didn't listen to Lin Changshou's words. After seeing another slap, they all shouted and shouted. Dude, shut up. Kid, who gave you the courage to take action against this prince? Speak up and let you go today. Lin Changshou let out a low growl, followed by a wave of air centered around Lin Changshou, which instantly exploded and knocked the few dog legs away. He looked at Zhang Gongzi calmly and said. From the moment this kid first came out, Lin Changshou felt something was wrong. The commotion caused by Lu Qinran just now was quite significant. In terms of time, it was not short, and the appearance of this surname Zhang was too timely, even the whip was not used against the civilians blocking the way. He aimed at himself with a clear goal. At first, he was just skeptical, but when he really hit himself for the first time, Lin Changshou confirmed that this force was definitely aimed at him. Although Lin Changshou's white coat is a bit dirty and messy now, it is made of top-quality white bears. Ordinary people may never touch it in their lifetime, let alone use it. And how could this kid, after being an official, have no vision at all, don't ask anything, and just take action? This is the capital city. If this kid were really like this, he would have killed the father of the deputy commander long ago, and he wouldn't be able to wait to see him. What are you saying? I don't know. Staring at Lin Changshou's eyes, young Master Zhang swallowed and spat, afraid to look directly, and lowered his head. You are really a good dog. When you go back, tell your master that my crown prince will be in the capital for the next 3 years, waiting for me at any time, washed clean, and waiting for me. Seeing the timid young Master Zhang, Lin Changshou let out a cold snort and didn't ask any more questions. Anyway, this capital has been established by himself. Whoever is behind the scenes will eventually find out. You. Feeling the murderous aura on Lin Changshou's body, Prince Zhang wanted to say something, but Lin Changshou ignored it at all. I saw him swing with one hand, and Zhang Gongzi was thrown in mid-air like a broken sack, with a crackling sound all over his body. Ah! Mr. Zhang in mid-air screamed in agony with the sound of bone fractures, and blood gushed out before landing. Oh, why bother? At this moment, Li San smiled and sighed as he walked over, whispering to Lin Changshou. Who am I? Lin Changshou glanced at Li Sanxiao and answered the wrong question. Prince Zhenbei. Li San smiled for a moment and then said seriously. By the way. After hearing a satisfactory answer, Lin Changshou looked up proudly and smiled, calmly walking towards the city gate. Stop. Someone, take it down for me. Before Lin Changshou could enter the city, he was once again stopped by a loud shout. Then, a group of soldiers wearing armor and holding weapons appeared, surrounding him in groups. "Are you guys finished?" Looking at the soldiers gathered around him and then at the middle-aged leader, I suddenly felt angry. Since being chased by Lu Qinran, I have not been able to pass by. Now, I am even bothered by these flies when I enter the city gate. In an instant, my cultivation level inside my body explodes. Where is the Zhenbei army? In an instant, a cultivation that belonged exclusively to the realm of concentration burst out, and with the emergence of cultivation, the burst of Lin Changshou's drinking also spread. A team of 50 soldiers from the Zhenbei army, pay respects to His Highness the Crown Prince. As Lin Changshou's drink came, only the sound of breaking the air was heard. At the next moment, a group of teams wearing black leather armor and holding Zhenbei knife knelt down in front of Lin Changshou. Chapter 5. Gonggong Stay. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Take it down. Lin Changshou had a cold demeanor and didn't look at the soldiers wearing armor and knives. With a wave of his hand, 50 soldiers from the northern army were mobilized in an instant. Who is the Zhenbei army? That's the northern territory of Zhenshou, almost a daily presence fighting against those Xiongnu. And these people who follow Lin Changshou are even more elite among the elites inside, at least experiencing dozens of battlefield baptisms. Before the other party could react and even make a move, the Zhenbei knife had already been placed around their necks. This is still the case with the Zhenbei army team keeping their hands on it. Otherwise, in front of the city gate today, these soldiers would surely drink and hate on the spot. Lin Changshou, dare you? As Lin Changshou walked towards him step by step, the commanding leader suddenly became calm, and his breath became stronger. The leaked breath blew up the dust on the ground. I dare your mother. As the leader of your team, who gave you the courage to attack me? Who knew that Lin Changshou was not afraid at all when he saw this, and the Zhenbei knife with its scabbard fiercely struck the opponent's head. Dang! With a sudden sound, Lin Changshou's powerful and heavy attack directly knocked off the opponent's helmet. The leader's hair instantly became disheveled, and he looked extremely disheveled, with a stronger aura emanating from his body. My grass! Are you really not satisfied? Let you see. Let you stare, why are you really trying to stare again? Originally, Lin Changshou thought he would finish this battle. After all, this is not his own territory. He has already fought one, so he cannot fight another team leader. But the other party's resentful gaze and restless aura made Lin Changshou feel threatened, and even made the killing intent surge out of his heart. The Zhenbei knife hit the opponent fiercely with one hit, and blood flowed down their forehead. From Lin Changshou's attack to now riding on the leader of the team and beating wildly, it has left the people and soldiers stunned. Since the founding of the Great Shang dynasty for nearly 1,000 years, when did anyone dare to be so reckless and even attack the leader of the Forbidden Army team? That young master fought and then he fought. At most, it was because the younger generation was ignorant and had no official position, which was just a fight. But these people are the Forbidden Army. Their subordinates are controlled by the pitch-black Zhenbei army, and the leader of the team has been taken by Lin Changshou. This nature has completely changed. Boss, should we go up there? A defending soldier approached Li Sanshao and first looked at Lin Changshou, who was crazily outputting, in fear. Then, he asked Li Sanshao in a low voice. Up to your master. Who is that young master? That's the Crown Prince of Zhenbei, and the other gang is the Forbidden Army. Who do you mean to help? Li Sanshao kicked over at the words and said with a toothache as he looked at the scene ahead. But it's not a big deal to continue fighting like this. If we continue to fight, we'll be killed. They're all soldiers. It's not good if we don't go up, right? The soldier didn't pay any attention to being kicked, but instead leaned in front of Li Sanshao and hesitated. Damn it, how could I have such a clever group of fools like you? We are defending the city, and they are the Forbidden Army, which is several levels behind us. Besides, the man they provoked first, we just need to work hard to defend the city. Why are you particularly involved in this kind of thing? Do you think you're lucky? Oh my. Damn it, my chest hurts. It must be because I fought against the exiled sword Immortal just now. Take me to the city wall to rest. Upon hearing this, Lin Changshou slapped his subordinates on the head. In the next moment, his face turned like gold paper and he spat out blood, allowing his subordinates to help him sit down against the wall. Hey! Yes, the boss is injured. Come over and help him quickly. That subordinate was also quite excited, and instantly understood what Lin Changshou meant. He quickly exchanged glances with his teammates and ran to Lin Changshou's side to watch the play. Prince Zhenbei accepts the decree. Just as everyone thought that the leader of the team was going to be killed by Lin Changshou, several fast horses rushed over, and a sharp voice accompanied by the sound echoed through everyone's ears. My emperor, long live, long live. Upon hearing this, everyone immediately knelt to the ground, and Lin Changshou and others didn't care to pretend to be injured. They lay on the ground and secretly looked ahead. Only Lin Changshou still disregarded and attacked the leader of the small team, while the northern army seemed to have not heard of him. The knife in hand was firmly held in the hand and placed on the neck of the forbidden army. Boss, the Prince of Zhenbei is really impressive, and the Zhenbei army is also impressive. How dare you remain indifferent at this time? The soldier guarding the city couldn't help but secretly smack his tongue and whispered to Lin Changshou. Damn it, shut up. How did the one in the palace come out? Lin Changshou didn't lift his head and slapped his subordinate again. When he saw the thin and frail eunuch with a white face, his eyes were full of fear. Your Highness, take a break for now. Your Majesty has a will. After arriving at Lin Changshou's side, he reached out to stop the subordinate who was about to take action, but instead waited for a long time before saying with a smile on his face. Your Majesty, uncle, how miserable your nephew is. Who knew that when Lin Changshou heard these words, he immediately lay on the ground and cried loudly, as if he had suffered a great deal of injustice. Your Highness, please take the order first. Even though he had been following the emperor all year round and was used to being shameless, seeing Lin Changshou's crying and shouting, as well as the arm of the leader of the team under his legs, made him only twitch at the corner of his eye. You must be Duke Wang, my hard-working father often talks about you. When it comes to the capital, I must go find you. But now, my life is so hard. Upon hearing this, Lin Changshou let out a dry cough and immediately looked at Gonggong and said in distress. Of course, the Prince of Zhenbei did not say that he would come to find this prince, but this prince really told Lin Changshou. There are 3 great masters on the surface of the Dasheng Palace, all of whom are in the realm of great masters, and this Duke Wang is one of them. It's easy to say, the miscellaneous families are sweating, and the Prince of Zhenbei, Lin Changshou, has received the order. The corners of Gonggong's eyes twitched again, and this time he didn't do that anymore. He was about to open the imperial edict. Gonggong, I haven't saluted yet. Seeing this, Lin Changshou hurriedly said, as if he was very polite. Your Majesty has said that the crown prince doesn't need to bow. Forget it, you should watch for yourself. Your Majesty said, please tidy up yourself. I must see you before noon tomorrow. Alright, I'll leave first. As a great master of cultivation, Duke Wang felt uneasy all over in the eyes of Lin Changshou. After speaking, he immediately turned around and left. Gonggong, please stay behind. My nephew has a heartless invitation. As Gonggong was about to leave, Lin Changshou stopped pretending and ran straight to him, looking embarrassed. Your Highness, the Crown Prince cannot use it. What can I do for you? Gonggong instantly felt like he was being targeted by some wild beast, took a slight step back, and cautiously looked at Lin Changshou, saying. Can you lend me some golden leaves? Look at me now, I'm all in a mess and I have to wash myself thoroughly before I can face the Holy Spirit. All the expenses on the road have been used up. You can't see my nephew so down and out, can you? My father said that although you have no male body, you are a first-class hero in the world. Lin Changshou turned his eyes and stared closely at Gonggong's clothes, saying, "You. The old slave didn't bring much rush out of here. This is the golden leaf we gathered together. If the crown prince doesn't have enough, his majesty will reward it tomorrow." Upon hearing this, Duke Wang felt that he was not doing well anymore. He had always been given money by others, but now it has turned out that he has to pay outside. But that first-class hero was still said by the world-renowned Prince of Zhenbei, plus the crown prince. In the end, they could only gather enough gold from their subordinates to put into Lin Changshou's hands, and after speaking, they hurriedly left with their people. That Gonggong, do you know which place in the capital is the best for romantic occasions? I want to go and tidy up well. As Lin Changshou watched Gonggong run away with his people, he reluctantly asked in a loud voice. If the crown prince really wants to go, Qingyue Pavilion is still a good place. As Lin Changshou's words fell, everyone clearly saw Gonggong's footsteps stumbling, and a sound of gritting teeth came along. Is this something special or something that people do? Asking a eunuch for money, not only asking them to introduce brothels, but also having a special place for romance, I'm sorry. Li Sanxiao, who had been kneeling at the back all along, was shocked. After a shameless remark, he murmured in admiration. Chapter 6. Gift to Meiniang. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Boss, the Prince of Zhenbei is really amazing. Yes, those forbidden soldiers' faces turned green just now. They were so scared they didn't even dare to fart. What did the eldest prince just say to you? Why is your face so ugly? Are you really injured? Lin Changshou's back, although slightly disheveled in clothes, can be completely ignored against the backdrop of the 50 northern armies. And the soldiers guarding the city approached Li Sanxiao with a playful expression, constantly discussing. However, as the discussion sounded, Li Sanxiao's face became increasingly ugly. Although your performance today was not very perfect, I am still quite satisfied with you. In the future, you will be my son's person. Thank you, Your Highness the Crown Prince. Your Highness is like a dragon and a phoenix among all people. I will never stop admiring you like a flowing water. You're very good, I really like you. Since I admire the Crown Prince so much, do you want to express it as a subordinate? Li Sanxiao's mind echoed with the whispers he had just made with Lin Changshou, and he felt heartbroken as he touched his already empty wallet. For a moment, I didn't know if it was due to the injury or my impatience. My face turned red in an instant, and a mouthful of blood sprayed out directly. Hurry up. Give me a hand and take me to the clinic. The boss is going to hang up. As Li Sanxiao's blood spurted out, the entire defending soldiers immediately panicked, ever since Li Sanxiao was transferred to become the leader. No matter what kind of person you face, you always smile off, and this situation has never happened before. Qingyue Pavilion. This position, this style, makes people yearn for it. Although Prince Wang is a eunuch, I like this aesthetic. Looking at the luxurious yet unassuming door, and smelling the non-pungent fragrance, Lin Changshou smiled and said he was about to open the door. Young master, please take your time. Before Lin Changshou could open the door, he was stopped by a servant nodding and bowing. Are you from here? Seeing this, Lin Changshou frowned. Why do people like to block their way here in the capital so much? Young master, don't be angry. Our Qingyue Pavilion is not open yet. The girls have been tired all night and are resting. If you want to come, noon is the best. The servants saw Lin Changshou frown and immediately accompanied his smiling face to bow and apologize. Step aside, it's the first time I've heard that I don't even do business. I had been running all night, sweating profusely and feeling extremely uncomfortable. I also played 2 second-rate players in front of the city gate, and now I'm in a bad mood. I saw Lin Changshou push the servant away and open the door. A fragrance of rouge and women mixed with various alcoholic flavors spread to the nose. Don't you even know how to ventilate? It smells like death. If the fragrance of the rouge woman is alone, it will be extremely enjoyable for Lin Changshou, or the taste of the liquor alone can also be appreciated. And now the two are mixed together, along with those unknown vomit smells, which rush straight to Lin Changshou's heavenly cap, causing him to cover his nose and mutter for a moment. Young master, it's really not open now. Why don't you go back and come back after we pack up? At this moment, the servant also ran in with a bitter face, and now he really has no temper towards Lin Changshou. If you look at ordinary people, do you think they have a good temper? It's mainly because the people from Qingyue Pavilion are not ordinary people. On the contrary, he couldn't afford any of the students from academies, high-ranking officials, and some merchants. I have long developed a keen eye here. Although Lin Changshou is a bit embarrassed, his temperament and dressing style are not like ordinary people. What's the cost? Hurry up and find a beautiful room for me. I've been sweating profusely all the way, and I'm really annoyed. By the way, I'll also get some drinks and food for you. Lin Changshou doesn't care about these things. Now he's not only tired, but also hungry, and even he can smell the sweat and odor on himself. Young master. Upon hearing this, the servant looked embarrassed and said something more. There is no brothel that opens early in the morning, and there is no such precedent in the entire Zhou dynasty. You step back, young master. He looks very handsome. Do you have any familiar girls? I can wake you up so that I can wake you up. At this moment, a charming young woman in her 30s walked over, swaying and waving at the servant. She then approached Lin Changshou with a seductive smile on her face. Oh, my sister is not bad either. I have just come to this fireworks land, have you anyone recommended me? It's really not good, my sister can do it too. Lin Changshou smiled at the corner of his mouth and hugged him, whispering. Oh my goodness, my young master. How could you dirty the young master's eyes with such a withered complexion? I'll first make a room for him and then call 2 maids to serve him. As for the young lady, we're not in a trap. If you want to be a guest, it depends on your means and sincerity, young master. When praised by Lin Changshou, the madam's eyebrows and eyes seemed to drip water. She smiled and patted Lin Changshou, then took the opportunity to lightly turn around and avoid her embrace, smiling. Originally with a light body shape, like a ripe peach, I can only see my plump but not greasy body in this turn. There is a taste, there is a taste. As the saying goes, hibiscus is not as beautiful as a beauty's makeup. The water palace breeze brings the fragrance of pearl and emerald. You are not old, it is your charm that shines brightly. Wang Changling's Autumn Lament in the Western Palace. Regarding the departure of the madam, Lin Changshou gave a slight sniff of the lingering fragrance in the air and gave the madam a meaningful glance. The word Gongzi. The madam's originally charming smile disappeared, but instead she looked at Lin Changshou with surprise and joy. Isn't that what you're talking about? I specially gave it to you, do you like it? Lin Changshou smiled slightly, his body moved, and he was already in front of the madam. He lightly lifted the delicate chin of the madam and smiled. What kind of virtue can I have? Young master, I am filled with joy in sending you to nature. The madam did not dodge this time. Her eyebrows and eyes looked at Lin Changshou like silk, saying that she had met many people over the years. Whether it's high-ranking officials or students from academies or wealthy merchants, they all treat her for the sake of her health, and today Lin Changshou is the first person to write poetry for her. Sister, why don't you prepare a room for me? I'm almost stinking. Upon hearing this, Lin Changshou smiled with satisfaction and touched the other person's earrings without leaving any trace, causing the madam to tremble all over. Enemy. Take this young master into Tingyu Pavilion. Feeling the departure of Lin Changshou's fingers, the madam felt a sense of emptiness in her heart. She looked at Lin Changshou with a resentful glance and murmured before giving orders to her subordinates. "Thank you very much, sister." Upon hearing this, Lin Changshou, regardless of the shocked gaze of his subordinates, bowed and thanked the madam. "Young master. Please. May I ask, what is the name of this word?" As Lin Changshou's figure was about to disappear, the madam couldn't help but ask. "What's the sister's name?" Lin Changshou didn't respond, but instead smiled and looked at the other person, asking. "I'm a seductive woman." The madam was taken aback for a moment, and finally spoke softly. "Then it's called, Gifted Meiniang. Lin Changshou laughed and turned to leave, while the madam stood still for a long time. Chapter 7. What are you? You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Tingyu Pavilion, although it has the character Gu, is actually a secluded courtyard located behind Qinghua Pavilion. The rockery and flowing water in the small courtyard make every effort to turn the not too large courtyard into a quiet and elegant place. Young Master Meiniang has instructed to boil hot water. Please wait for a moment in the Tingyu Pavilion. Tingyu girl is our number one, and we don't sell ourselves as artists. The servant brought Lin Changshou to the back, but stood there without taking a step forward, and his attitude became more respectful. In the end, he not only warned, but also whispered a friendly reminder. "Well, hard work. Although you stopped me at the door, I'm not the kind of unreasonable person either. I'll give you this reward." Upon hearing this, Lin Changshou nodded without saying much. He directly took out a piece of broken silver from the money bag he had received from Li Sanxiao and threw it to the servant. Finally, amidst the flattering gratitude from the servant, he walked straight to the Tingyu Pavilion with his head tilted back, while the servant waited for Lin Changshou's figure to disappear. I slowly stood up, my eyes constantly turning. One moment I looked at Tingyu Pavilion, another at the main building of Qinghua Pavilion. After a while, I walked towards the distance. Lin Changshou was unaware of these things, and at this moment he was looking curiously at the decorations in the room. The room is divided into inside and outside, and that special fragrance comes from the inside. The entire room is not very luxurious in the eyes of Lin Changshou. On the contrary, it adds a touch of warmth, making people feel in this environment and involuntarily want to take more rest. "I have already arrived, don't you want to come out and see me?" Lin Changshou turned around for a while and saw that the people inside were not ready to come out. He sat directly at the round table, pouring himself tea while looking inside with great interest. Everyone says that His Highness, the Crown Prince of Zhenan, is difficult to train as a playboy and is the biggest calamity of the Zhenan Prince's mansion. But who would have known that so many great things have been accomplished in these short 9 years? As Lin Changshou's words fell, a gentle voice, accompanied by a plain dress, slowly walked towards Lin Changshou's direction. A layer of thin gauze draped over his body, and as he walked, the gauze rubbed against his snow-white skin, coupled with his graceful figure listening to the rain. As one walks around, with the blessing of thin gauze, the faintly visible peaks in one's belly always evoke a desire to explore. You know the importance of passing on the 1,000-mile talisman, and there's one thing you may not know. The charm of all of you was taught by me. This gauze, as well as the things in your belly pocket, were all developed by the Crown Prince when he was 11 years old. If you only want me to come and see these things, then you will die. Lin Changshou put down his teacup and looked at Tingyu walking slowly, saying in a low voice. At this moment, he no longer had the dominance in front of the city gate. There is no longer the teasing when facing Meiniang, only the endless indifference, just like the famous rain-listening flower queen in the capital, just a cold corpse. You. Upon hearing the rain's words, the whole person was taken aback, and her seductive figure suddenly stiffened. She looked at Lin Changshou incredulously, but couldn't say a complete sentence. Based on her understanding of Lin Changshou's information in the past 2 years, although she may not be ignorant or inexperienced, her reputation in the northern region is not very good. Even in the past 6 months, thousands of kilometers from the northern border to the capital, the other party has been longing for the land of fireworks, and often even makes scenes of forcibly robbing civilian women. Moreover, over the years, he has created 5 out of 10 famous brothel prostitutes. How could such people not be greedy for beauty? But now the legendary person is sitting in front of her, with an indifferent gaze and a deep murderous intent that makes Ting Yu know that the other person is not lying, and that she will really die, at the hands of this notorious prince. The hot water for bathing is almost ready. If you don't have enough reason to convince me before the hot water enters this room, then the crown prince doesn't mind killing a flower leader on the first day of entering the capital. Seeing Ting Yu, who was frightened by himself, Lin Changshou slowly drank tea. As the young master looked like a jade, his words made Ting Yu feel extremely cold all over. I just want to see what kind of person is behind me. Listening to the rain calmed my mind, and a pitiful expression appeared on my face. Those talkative eyes were full of sorrow. Do you know what Meiniang belongs to me? Seeing this, Lin Changshou did not threaten or take action. Instead, he sighed and put down his teacup to listen to Yu Yu's words. I'm not sure, but the entire spider web is under the control of Meiniang. She's an amazing woman. Seeing that Lin Changshou did not take any action, Ting Yu secretly felt proud in his heart and became more confident in his beauty and charm. When I was 10 years old, I was secretly plotted. Although I escaped death, with the efforts of my father and mother, I was able to continue my cultivation. Lin Changshou glanced at Ting Yu's pitiful face, with only indifference in his eyes. The crown prince has been ambushed, and everyone knows it. I am also worried about the crown prince. Listening to the rain, I didn't know what Lin Changshou meant by these words. I didn't dare to look at the other person's eyes at all, so I quickly poured tea and whispered. Worried, after that, I could prove the foundation of the great master, and there were only less than 3 layers left. And in the 3rd year, my mother took me to find medicine, but I was ambushed. A whole 100 soldiers from the northern army, including my mother, were completely defeated, while Meiniang dragged her heavily injured body and ran 300 miles with me in her arms. I still remember that Meiniang's blood dyed me red, and her resilient gaze ultimately led me to the Great Snow Mountain, where she was already a half-step master's cultivation and fell directly. From then on, she had only reached the peak of her cultivation in the Return to One realm, but could not engage in prolonged physical activity. She was a life-saving benefactor and a relative to this crown prince. And because of you, a slut, she almost got exposed. Do you know how many people the ghost shadow and the others killed before cutting off the clues? And you just want to see me. Tell this crown prince, what kind of thing are you? You are just a poor person we saved, and entering here was also your voluntary choice. Now, you are selfish and almost killed Meiniang because of you. Are you really, damn it? Upon hearing this, Lin Changshou sneered and grabbed Ting Yu's neck. With the force in his hands, Ting Yu's pitiful eyes instantly became frightened. However, Lin Changshou became even more enraged. He didn't say anything. From the day he traveled, except for his late mother in the days of anxiety, only Meiniang's company remained, and even his newly formed team was all assisted by Meiniang from behind. If it weren't for the existence of Meiniang, Lin Changshou would have been devoured by this terrible world long ago. Where would there be the current crown prince? She found that her proud face and figure were nothing to Lin Changshou's eyes, and even her secret cultivation of returning to the peak of her realm was useless in front of Lin Changshou, and she couldn't even lift a breath. Chapter 8. Interesting. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Rao, my life. Lin Changshou grabbed his neck with one hand, and Ting Yu's white and tender cheeks instantly turned red. Soon, the color turned purple. After struggling to make ends meet, Ting Yu could only plead. Spare your life. Since the day I saved you, I have given you a choice, either to return home or to remain anonymous. The other is cooperation, all of which are voluntary. You mentioned earlier that those who break the rules will die. Lin Changshou only felt amused and speechless. A guy who almost killed the team due to his small temper actually wanted to spare her. Why? Just because she's a flower queen? Or is it just because she looks good? But what does all of this have to do with oneself? A guy who only drags his feet, only death. Long life, stop it. Just as Lin Changshou wanted to strangle the other person directly, a figure suddenly drifted into the room and the next moment only grabbed Lin Changshou's hand. Meiniang, why are you here at this time? Seeing this figure, Lin Changshou frowned, the indifference in his eyes disappeared, and all that remained was worry. Longevity, listening to the rain is just a joke. Don't be impulsive, let go of her first, okay? Meiniang's face was full of panic. She knew Lin Changshou's personality too well. After so many years, she could tell what Lin Changshou wanted to do with just a glance. Although Lin Changshou may seem carefree in front of outsiders, and sometimes even very detached, only she knows that from the day the queen was killed, Lin Changshou has had a cold attitude towards the world, and few people can truly enter the other person's heart. Sister. Her stubbornness caused the death of Ghost's little seven. Someone noticed this yesterday, and you almost exposed it, you know. Lin Changshou looked at the woman in front of him who was the most important to him, with only heartache in his eyes. She really has something to tell you. Changshou, let's put her down first, let's sit down and talk slowly. Meiniang quickly took away Lin Changshou's hand, while giving a wink to the limp listening rain on the ground, and comforting Lin Changshou to sit down. Thank you very much for your mercy, Crown Prince. Tingyu, who had recovered, knelt directly on the opposite side and kowtowed to thank him. Humph, thank me for being useful. You should be grateful to Meiniang if you can survive today. Lin Changshou let out a cold snort, which made Tingyu, who was already a frightened bird, tremble all over. Alright, we are all our own people. Don't be scared by Tingyu for a long life. You also get up from Tingyu and say everything you know, be good. Seeing the atmosphere become awkward again, Meiniang gave Lin Changshou a resentful glare, and then picked up Tingyu's soft voice with one hand. Thank you for your life-saving kindness, Sister Meiniang. Tingyu gave Meiniang a grateful glance, but did not stand up until Lin Changshou let out a cold snort before being lifted up by Meiniang. There's still some time left, I hope your message can be valuable. Lin Changshou coldly glanced at the timid Tingyu, ignoring the white eyes of Meiniang and snorted coldly. Yes, I have heard some news in the past 2 years about the queen being attacked that year. Tingyu has long lost her previous confidence, and even without Meiniang, she doesn't know if she can have the confidence to stand by Lin Changshou's side. Continue. Upon hearing this, Meiniang was stunned, her eyes immediately moistened, and waves of killing intent kept coming from her body. Meanwhile, Lin Changshou tightly clenched her fist and said coldly. I'm not sure about the specific maidservants, but once again I heard the son of the right Prime Minister, Luo Fei, drunk and talking about what the northern princess of Zhenbei could have been killed back then, and what else could not have been killed. Upon hearing the rain, fearing that Lin Changshou would become angry again, he directly spoke out everything he had heard. That old man from Luo Kingdom. Upon hearing this, Lin Changshou fell silent, touching his chin while murmuring. The general had checked the other party before, but at that time, Luo Guo was not a right prime minister, just a fourth-rank attendant, so the general didn't pay much attention to it. By the way, today in front of the city gate, the son of the deputy commander of the Forbidden Army who you cleaned up, as well as the later leader, are all from the state of Luo. Meiniang poured tea while whispering what she knew. After all, Lin Changshou had too much to manage. After several years of development, the spider web has already spread to every corner of the big business, and the capital is the territory of Meiniang. Interesting, interesting. I heard that the person's health is not very good. Is there any news? Lin Changshou played with the teacup, with an inexplicable smile on the corner of his mouth. This evil smile, combined with those indifferent eyes, directly stunned Tinyu. The information blockade is very strict. Although our officials are also here, they are all young gentlemen and the like. The real high-ranking officials are still watching and inquiring about the people behind this place. Meiniang didn't provide accurate information, just spoke with some self-blame. Don't worry, it will gradually get better. Since they want to know the people behind it, I'll put it on the table and see how these people react. Lin Changshou patted Meiniang's hand and said with a soft smile on his face. That one. Upon hearing this, Meiniang was completely stunned, not even responding to being grabbed by Lin Changshou. Yeah, don't they want to know who the person behind this Qingyue pavilion is? Let's show them, but I don't know if they will be shocked and lose their chin after the 15 wise kings come out. Lin Changshou put down his teacup and remembered the guy who was 2 years younger than him but was lying flat in his life. A wicked smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. That scene should be very funny. Meiniang knew what Lin Changshou was thinking when she saw Lin Changshou's appearance, and the childish little face of the 15 wise kings came to her mind, with a smile on her lips. Tomorrow, 7 days after the announcement, choosing the flower leader and listening to the rain should also have a real reputation. Lin Changshou stood up directly, patted Tinyu's shoulder, and said. Although Tinyu is the leader of the Qingyue Pavilion and some people call her the flower leader, after all, she has not been elected, and some of her names are not fair and proper. After this election, it can be foreseen that Tinyu's value will more than double. Your Highness, Prince Ye. Listening to the rain and hearing the words, her face showed fear. Today was undoubtedly like a roller coaster for her, life and death were unpredictable. By the way, I'll write my first poem later and practice listening to the rain these days. But remember one thing, I don't want this kind of thing to happen again today. Seeing Lin Changshou's frightened expression from the rain, he nodded in satisfaction and took control of it. He gave a sweet date with a stick, which was not too easy for him. Thank you very much, Your Highness the Crown Prince. I will definitely not let down the cultivation of Your Highness the Crown Prince and Sister Meiniang. After hearing another poem by Lin Changshou, Tinyu knelt down directly with an excited expression of loyalty. Chapter 9. Luo Fei, Revised. You are listening at novelfull.audio. I don't know the palace in the sky, what year is tonight? When Lin Changshou took out the head of this water-tuned song, the second daughter's eyes were only filled with a small star, the admiration that could be felt without words. Your Highness, is this really for me? And Tinyu held a paper covered in the handwriting of Lin Changshou and said cautiously. Practice well these past few days, remember to keep this flower queen, you must do a good job in your character design, and your character design is knowledge. That kind of appearance but there are gaps in your heart. In the future, take away all your charming skills. You used to be a high-ranking official, and you were already a young lady. I think you haven't forgotten the talents your parents gave you, have you? Lin Changshou waved his hand, and Li Bai, who is a poet, was not easily captured by taking this small flower leader. So, what if someone asks? After hearing Lin Changshou's words, Tinyu breathed a slight sigh of relief in her heart and then hesitated to ask. Although she used to be a lady from a wealthy family, not to mention having a wealth of knowledge, she is definitely a leader in various fields, proficient in music, chess, calligraphy, and painting. But the grandeur and gentleness of this water-tuned song's head are beyond the reach of a woman like her. Hide it for now. If you can't hide it, just tell the truth that day. It's good for me, a promiscuous prince, to still have a reputation for being a talented person. Alright, let's all go out. Do you really want to serve me in the shower? Meiniang, you can leave too, there are many people with mixed mouths. Lin Changshou curled his lips. Poetry doesn't matter, even if he knows he has literary talent, what can he do? In this world, cultivation ultimately determines everything, and I am just a half-useless prince of Zhennan. Cut, listen to the rain and let's go, just like who thought it might seem, I've been tired of watching it before. Upon hearing this, Meiniang's eyebrows and eyes turned white as Lin Changshou looked down. In the next moment, her whole body was like smoke, and a gust of wind blew by and disappeared into the room. Please wash it slowly, Crown Prince, and I will leave first. Listening to the rain, Lin Changshou's face turned slightly red and he lowered his head, not daring to even glance at him. He slowly retreated. I'll wash it before you come over. I heard that your Gonggong is a unique piece of music in the capital, and it happens to give me a good night's sleep. As Ting Yu was about to disappear from sight, Lin Changshou suddenly spoke with a wicked interest, causing Ting Yu's footsteps to be disorganized and he could only nod slightly. Time flies, and after so many years of traveling, Lin Changshou has long been accustomed to being taken care of. There was no scene of maidservants playing in the water as imagined, although the two maidservants had rosy cheeks and spring eyes, but Lin Changshou really dared not. Who would know that a notorious prince who only stays overnight in fireworks venues is still a young child? On that day, Lin Changshou didn't want to move a step and slept directly on the bed of Tingyu Pavilion. The fragrance of a woman belonging to Tingyu came from his nose. Listening to the sound of the rain's tinkling Gonggong, coupled with such a long and tiring journey, Lin Changshou quickly fell asleep. Alright, there's no need to play for now. Changshou has already fallen asleep. You can lie down again. Do you still want these little hands? When Lin Changshou was sleeping soundly, the sound of the Gonggong was already pleasing to the ear, and Meiniang felt a little heartbroken and stopped listening to the rain. But the Crown Prince said he wants to listen to the Gonggong and sleep. Looking at my red fingers and then at Lin Changshou who was already asleep, I listened to the rain's hesitation and said. Does it hurt? It really hurts, after all, it has been playing for over an hour. A pair of tender hands are about to bleed. But she still insisted on it. One was self-punishment for her humanity in the morning, the other was because the Crown Prince gave her a timeless classic, and more importantly, the Crown Prince said he wanted to listen to the Gonggong and fall asleep. How could she possibly disappoint the Crown Prince again? Silly girl, our Crown Prince is talking about falling asleep. It's not just listening while sleeping, but also waking up. Besides, 7 days from now, it's the Huakue election. Are you going to lose and disappoint the Crown Prince? Upon hearing this, Meiniang already knew what was going on. She looked at Lin Changshou, who was sleeping soundly, and nodded at Tingyu's forehead in anger. So. After listening to Meiniang's words, I felt a bit moved by the rain, but my heart was still conflicted. What this and that? If you want to repay your Crown Prince, then fill him with heat and don't let him catch a cold. Alright, I'll leave first. Meiniang didn't care about Tingyu's entanglement. With just one movement of her hand, she held the Gonggong in her hand and turned around to leave, without giving Tingyu a chance to refute it. Okay. Okay. Looking at the closed door and then at Lin Changshou lying on his bed, Tingyu's face turned red and he walked to Lin Changshou's bed by some strange means, just staring at him foolishly. On the other side, the disabled guard who walked slowly to the gate of the capital city was stopped by someone. What are you, the eunuch, blocking us for? Uncle Dao looked at Gonggong, whose face was white and unnecessary, and suddenly became angry. He said angrily. Your Majesty was delighted to hear that His Royal Highness the Crown Prince had entered the capital, and also heard that the disabled general had followed the Crown Prince to the capital. He specially invited the old servant to welcome the two of you. Upon hearing this, Gonggong paid no attention and still bent down to bow to Uncle Dao and his two companions before saying. Those surnamed Wang, let's not talk about those who beat around the bush. If we don't want to go in, we'll have a fight, and then we'll take the Crown Prince away. If you don't want to fight, hurry up and get out of the way with you guys. Our brothers still have to go see the Crown Prince. We don't have time to argue with you. Uncle Dao snorted coldly and didn't show any good face to Duke Wang, interrupting his anger. Your Majesty has said that since you two have arrived, the northern army of the 500 towns does not need to stay in the capital, otherwise the impact will not be good. You can leave 50 people, either you two leave, or the 500 towns will leave 405. Upon hearing this, Wang Gonggong straightened up and still looked at the two with a smiling face, saying, What if we say no? As soon as the tone of Wang Gonggong's words fell, the silent leg uncle suddenly spoke, and his aura began to constantly increase. The waves of killing intent rushed towards Wang Gonggong like substance. Lin Changshou is safe and sound in the capital city. Except for his peers, no one will pose a threat to Lin Changshou. The academy can endorse it. At this moment, an old man with a long robe and white beard suddenly appeared in mid-air, and the killing intent of the leg uncle seemed to have collided with an invisible wall, disappearing in an instant. Dean, old man. Uncle Dao, who was preparing to take action in the dark, gave up and looked at the old man in mid-air with some surprise. The two generals have been separated for almost 30 years now. The old man looked kind and shocked when he saw the two of them. He smiled faintly and then bowed with both hands. Dean, you're welcome. Since both deans have made promises, we don't have much to say. The two of us will stay, and the 50-person team will also stay. The two of them looked at the dean with fear and then saluted with both hands. There is no pressure on them to fight against a prince, but even if they fight against the dean of the academy together, they have no chance of winning. But it's definitely not that we're afraid of each other, it's just that the dean of the academy belongs to the neutral faction and has been around for 500 years since its establishment. The dean of the academy has proven himself with his strength and reputation. With the endorsement of the other party, he is more useful in the capital than the northern army in 1,000 towns. Are you sure about Chapter 10? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Lin Changshou slept very comfortably this night. Perhaps he didn't have any money along the way, which led to sleeping outdoors and being constantly snatched away by those two shameless people. He, who was already accustomed to luxurious clothing and food, felt uncomfortable. Suddenly, there was a fragrant bed, which made him sleep until evening. Of course, it wasn't a natural awakening, it was awakened by a commotion, and he even heard insults not far away. Damn it, who's that inside? Come out to me, young master, and dare to compete with me for reign. He's living impatiently. I only heard a loud noise coming, followed by a commotion and an angry voice. It is obvious that the other party has already intruded into the backyard, but the guards of Qingyue Pavilion did not stop or dared not stop them at all. Oh, young Master Luo, please calm down. The one inside is still resting. Why don't you wait a moment? I'll come out to play the piano for everyone while I listen to the rain. At this moment, Lin Changshou had already woken up, his eyes filled with the anger of being awakened by someone, cold as substance. Meanwhile, Tingyu stood up in a panic, as if he had done something wrong, more like someone had caught him. Why are you nervous? What's that dog barking about outside? Lin Changshou glanced at the panicked Tingyu and stood up to start tidying up. It should be Luo Fei, the son of the right prime minister. I'll help you dress it, Crown Prince. Listening to the rain, their faces turned even redder. Although they didn't do anything, they were still under the same roof. The most important thing is that I watched it foolishly for a while, and even fell asleep on the prince's arm in the end. Luo Fei. The person who said that sentence after getting drunk. Upon hearing this, Lin Changshou took the opportunity to extend his arms so that Tingyu could help him dress. He frowned and thought about the outside, although he couldn't see anything. Yes, it's him. Crown Prince, why don't you leave first? We can't argue with such people. Listening to the rain, he nodded repeatedly, and his hands were even more nimble as he put on all the clothes and accessories for Lin Changshou, before hesitating to say a word. Humph, don't hide. I really want to see who can say that crazy thing. Cook a pot of tea for me, let's wait slowly. If he can't pass, then next time. If we can open this door, humph. I saw Lin Changshou sitting directly on the side, fiddling with the teacup. As for what would happen if Luo Fei and the others came in the end, Lin Changshou didn't say anything, just let out a cold snort. What kind of thing are you, just an old lady? Dare to block my young master's way? Just as Lin Changshou finished speaking, there was suddenly a loud shout from outside, followed by a clear slap. You want to die? After this round of applause, Lin Changshou, who was originally sitting in the main seat playing with a teacup, suddenly became furious, and his internal cultivation erupted uncontrollably. With just a bang, the seat burst open. When Tingyu realized it, there was no longer the figure of Lin Changshou in the room, leaving only a mess and a hellish killing intent. Bang! With only a loud bang, a young man in brocade was thrown away from a distance and fell heavily onto the wall of the courtyard. And by Meiniang's side, there was already a young man in white, looking at her with a concerned expression. It was Lin Changshou who rushed out of the room. Is it okay? Does it hurt? Looking at the bright red fingerprints on Meiniang's fair face, Lin Changshou was burning with anger and wished to directly kill Luo Fei. Young master, how did you come out? Seeing that Lin Changshou was about to lose control of his killing intent, Meiniang quickly grabbed his hand in secret, afraid that he would impulsively kill the other person. Don't be impulsive. It's okay to beat you up, but you absolutely can't kill anyone. To live a long life, you must be obedient. Even Meiniang was not at ease and began to dissuade Lin Changshou with her voice. She was really afraid that Lin Changshou couldn't help it. Who are you? Do you know who he is? At this moment, the group of genie young masters finally realized that they were surrounded by Lin Changshou and his two companions, each exuding cultivation. Who he is none of my business, you guys can still get out of here now. Lin Changshou took a deep breath in his heart. He also knew that killing the son of the right prime minister as soon as he entered the capital was not allowed, but he didn't care at all about these doglegs. Are you all blind? Take action. Upon hearing these words, the young masters were instantly enraged. With a wave of their subordinates, they retreated and let their bees and pupae charge towards Lin Changshou. There were 6 people rushing over, with the highest cultivation reaching the level of returning to 1, and the lowest remaining cultivation reaching the level of bone training. Almost as soon as a few people rushed over, the oppressive aura made a group of servants, Empress Tsang, retreat. Seeking death. Seeing this, Lin Changshou let go of Meiniang and instantly took action with a malevolent aura in his hand. The newly awakened anger, coupled with Meiniang being beaten, were all reasons for him to take action with anger. In the next moment, his figure instantly disappeared by Meiniang's side, and the remnants of his white clothes flashed past several of his subordinates. Every time they arrived by someone's side, snowflakes would explode, and that person would also be directly knocked away. By the time those young masters reacted, Lin Changshou's cold face had already arrived in front of them. What are you doing? The person in charge immediately panicked. It's only been a while, and they haven't even received a breath. These subordinates used to be invincible. What he didn't know was that these subordinates in the capital were not very skilled. In the past, they had always been successful, but because of their identity, everyone chose to avoid them. Today, they have offended someone they shouldn't have offended. Get lost. Upon seeing this, Lin Changshou let out a cold snort and waved a wave of energy with one hand, directly knocking the young masters away. Blood sprayed from his mouth in mid-air. You're done, do you know who I am? At this moment, Luo Fei had already struggled to stand up, looking at Lin Changshou getting closer and closer. Fear flashed through his eyes, but then he became stronger again. Oh. I'm done. You tell me, how can I finish? What are you? Upon hearing this, Lin Changshou smiled, but this smile made Luo Fei feel shivery. With Lin Changshou's rhythmic footsteps, he only felt his blood becoming hot and dry all over. My father is the right chancellor of the court, Luo Guo. If you dare to take action again, I will make the whole family die hard. Luo Fei felt the rolling internal strength and blood in his body, and for a moment he panicked. He didn't care about anything else and directly lifted his father out. Although he didn't know what kind of martial arts it was, everything was definitely related to the man in white in front of him. In the past, in the capital, whenever he mentioned his right prime minister's father, it was always favorable, even the royal family would give some face. Your father is here, and I will also fight according to him. But who knew that when Lin Changshou heard these words, he gave a cold laugh and his footsteps became faster and faster.